Even though every position is vital in the game of rugby, if there's something every team wishes to have, it's a dominant pairing at the center of the field, responsible for creating space and opportunities for the outside backs, as well as for providing a solid defensive line in the middle of the field. The centers are key players both in attack and defense, providing a good combination of speed, power, agility, and vision. These players are some of the most exciting to watch on the field. All this said, why don't we take a look at the greatest center pairings of all time? Conrad Smith and Ma'a Nonu. Starting off strong, we have one of the most legendary center pairings in the history of the All Blacks, and why not in the history of rugby. This is no joke. These two have even been named as the greatest midfielders by multiple rugby experts. With Ma'a Nonu at 12 and Conrad Smith at 13, the pairing has a whopping 62 appearances with the All Black jersey. We wouldn't be wrong if we considered them the most successful pair of all time. They were key in the 2011 and 2015 Rugby World Cups, both of which they won. Ma'a Nonu was a creative player with incredible power, while Smith had some amazing agility and was more of a defensive leader. They were, needless to say, a great complement to each other. Gordon Darcy and Brian O'Driscoll. Following a legendary pair comes another legendary pair. Gordon Darcy and Brian O'Driscoll were a historic center pairing for Ireland. They played together for 56 games only at their national team. They also shared clubs at Leinster, making it countless games together throughout their careers. Originally a full black, Darcy played at center for the first time under Warren Gatlin's mandate, replacing an injured O'Driscoll. The impression he left was so good that he remained at number 13 once O'Driscoll returned, and who was considered the greatest center ever by many was left experimenting at 12. Together, these two achieved some great results, including Ireland's first Grand Slam in 61 years at the 2009 Six Nations Championships and the Triple Crown in 2004, 2006, and 2007. They also won with their club, Leinster, the Heineken Cup in 2009, 2011, and 2012, as well as the Celtic League in 2002 and 2008. They were key members of this team that was one of the dominators of European club rugby during their period. Jamie Roberts and Jonathan Davies. From a legendary Irish pairing, let's pass on to a legendary Welsh pair. Jamie Roberts and Jonathan Davies started 47 matches together for Wales, being the most capped center pairing in the history of their country. They were part of a great era of the Welsh national team, with Jamie Roberts at the inside center and Jonathan Davies at the outside center. Wales achieved 2 Six Nations championships, including a Grand Slam in 2012, and made it to the semi-finals of the Rugby World Cup in 2011, losing to France in a very close polemic match. Damien de Allende and Lucanio Am. Let's now switch to the best, most recent pairing and head to South Africa. In recent years, Damien de Allende and Lucanio Am have been the first choice for the Springboks at 12 and 13 in the center of the field. Speaking about their partnership, they've both mentioned that their great relationship, not only on the field but also outside the field, is one of the keys to their partnership flowing so well. The skillful duo have played 27 times together and have been key for the Green and Gold's victory at the 2019 Rugby World Cup. They are considered to be one of the best active center pairings in the world, thanks to their impressive skills and ability to read the game and create opportunities. De Allende is characterized by his power and carrying of the ball, always gaining meters, as well as by his great defensive skills. He's a physical beast. Outside of him is Am, who is more of an astute player with outstanding game awareness and impressive agility for a guy his size. Added to these two are also Jesse Creel and Andre Esterhuizen, two other great centers that South Africa has at their disposal, who've been alternating with De Allende and Am over the last few years. Jean de Villiers and Jacques Fourie. Let's stay in South Africa and mention the Springboks' most capped center pairing. With 29 caps together, Jean de Villiers and Jacques Fourie are considered to be one of, if not the best center pairing South Africa has ever had. De Villiers usually played as the inside center and Fourie as the outside center. They were two particularly powerful centers with great ball handling and overall superb all-round skills. It's pretty much exactly what one would expect when thinking about the Springboks and their traditional Springbok-style physicality. Will Carling and Jeremy Guscott. Characterized by the great number of tries they scored together, Will Carling and Jeremy Guscott are one of the best center pairings that England has ever had. Carling was indeed the captain of the Rose during some of this time, from 1988 to 1996. During these years, he led the English national team to 3 Grand Slams in the Five Nations Championship. Guscott, who accompanied him in the middle of the field during 46 occasions as the outside center, was a very talented player who was characterized by his great speed and agility, which in many occasions transformed into the ability to score tries. Tim Horan and Jason Little. Isn't it strange that we've made it to this point of the video and not mentioned Australia yet? Well, here are the Wallabies and their most successful center pairing, formed by Tim Horan at 12 and Jason Little at 13. These two have a really nice story, having known each other since they were 13 years old when they were roommates for a rugby league team. Since then, not only did they have a great relationship, but also an extremely successful partnership. Not many can say they've won the Rugby World Cup. These two were key to the Australian victory in the 1991 championship. 17 years after they met, they ended both their Test careers in 2000. As they were friends throughout their careers, they remained friends after retirement, and even wrote a book together called Perfect Union. Such a nice story. John Dawes and Bleddyn Williams. Let's now throw it back to the 1970s and head back to Wales. John Dawes and Bleddyn Williams were two national Welsh rugby players who played together as a center pairing for the Welsh national team in that decade, and are considered one of the best pairings to ever do it for their country. Dawes was a quick-thinking center with even quicker feet who brought unprecedented success to Welsh rugby, being the captain of the 1971 British and Irish Lions tour of New Zealand. Bleddyn Williams, on the other hand, was known for his speed, agility, and ability to score tries. Together, they formed a formidable midfield partnership for Wales. Will Greenwood and Mike Tindall. Since the days of the already mentioned Carling and Guscott in the 1990s, the English national team struggled to find an effective center combination for a few years. Around 10 years passed until Clive Woodward combined Will Greenwood's rugby brain with the ferocious physical power of Mike Tindall and formed a center pairing that would go into history. At 12 and 13 respectively, these two were at the heart of England's most glorious periods of rugby, this being their 2003 World Cup triumph, on which both of them were a central part.